Welcome to the fourth part of my video series Madness in the Western World, an introduction to a realistic solution. And once again, voice narration will be performed by a text-to-speech converter. Thank you for your patience.
Third objective. We must secure our means of communication, bypass restrictions from internet censorship, especially in Europe, create independent trustworthy platforms to exchange information, news, important intel, and focus attention and activity of aware people on those platforms, on this alternative internet infrastructure which will grant us absolute freedom of speech and security for organizational purposes. We must create a primary, independent, and central organizational point on the internet, secured in case any new internet censorship regulations emerge, especially in Europe, and prepare fundamentals for the orelpolstrat project, which I will talk further about later, and with more detail. To effectively organize on a mass scale, we must do it through the internet first, no other way around. We need to be organized and act on the international level. It's not only a national problem anymore, it's a civilizational crisis, a war for civilization. And in our countries, people like us hold no real influence or power, because we are the minority, often tagged as radicals and bigots. As I said, political solutions do not exist, and the majority of people will never wake up until it's already too late to save anything of value. I have seen how small calls for action work in the real world. People come gather enthusiastically, and then leave being mostly disappointed by the outcome, ignored or attacked by the leftist media, which never leads to good results. People won't admit this, but each failure of these calls for actions demotivates them from participating in any future events. So until you're sure that you are able to gather enough people with clearly defined goals and you plan in advance, avoid actions in the real world, focus on the internet first, and the orelpolstrat project will help you to organize such events effectively. We must establish our own censorship-free central point for further, more advanced organization of aware right-minded people, because we currently have many small platforms that are relatively free from censorship, and our people are divided among all of them in small meaningless numbers. For now I suggest we stick to what we still have, but this might change in the near future because of increasing censorship. I designed this strategic objective long ago, and I attempted to set this project up in the past, but we failed. That centralized point will be called Project orelpolstrat. Platform orelpolstrat will be a control panel to monitor the situation in our countries and to start slowly organizing aware right-minded people on a local, regional, and national level in the real world. You will be able to make friends, discover like-minded people in your own town or city to cooperate on this local level. You won't be alone anymore. You won't feel alienated, fearing of who you may speak to and what topics to avoid. orelpolstrat is a very advanced project, combining everything that's needed to keep people well informed and fully aware of the situation around, and organize people to unite them for action whenever needed. Social media, political platform, organization, coordination, and communication will be established on the internet surface and underground, linking those together, protecting us from any form of internet censorship forced upon us by our puppet governments, and it will help people to bypass it by allowing to access blocked websites, opening videos blocked in your country, backing up controversial materials, and much more. We will even try to make a communication platform similar to Discord, called Word, but with absolute freedom of speech and also protecting our identity. To create this alternative centralized meeting point, I will try to offer cooperation to the makers of platforms like BitChute, Minds, Gab, but it would be best if we would develop all of this alone, from scratch for security reasons. This platform will be completely legal and there won't be any legally justified way to shut it down, because the orelpolstrat platform will serve as a mirror or a proxy between the surface and a dark web, while on its own, with its own surface website and servers, will be completely clean and innocent in the eyes of any state censorship, and servers with sensitive information accessible by our website emulator will be registered for a ghost company officially operating, for example in China, or Russia, or some other convenient country. As I said, Our Surface website owned by our Surface business company will have clean hands, because it only provides a tool integrated into Polstrat mechanics, which allows for previews of controversial information stored on servers registered for a different non-American/non-European company. In order to legally shut down a platform like Polstrat, our governments would have to criminalize and shut down projects like Tor, which is not possible to do based on the political situation in our Western world and the Internet structure itself. Those mechanics should keep our personal information and freedom to watch and read whatever we need secured for many years to come, possibly until the collapse of this system. Polstrat will allow users to create a sort of collective mind, where interaction will directly be affecting reality. This collective mind will be shaping ideas and visions over this operation and the entire political system, laws, regulations, and religions, or even the products produced by some of our companies, which I will talk about while explaining objective number 4, about our economy. Polstrat will use a VPN system if needed, with our own network on the surface and dark web, databases located on servers all over the world, encrypted communication, everything without any political censorship or limits, with a very smart design and mechanics, all features, packed inside one project, which will be easy to access, to navigate in and easy to use, and will be available absolutely for free for everybody. For most people it's too complicated, or simply takes too much effort to use currently available VPNs to reach certain types of information, that limits the popularity of such materials. This must be changed. Polstrat will be a completely public project, but it will be secured against any manipulation or damaging interactions from our governments. In further stages of development, access speeds will be fast, thanks to our network of servers located all over the world. If the database in one country is in danger, we will have emergency servers in neighboring countries. Access to all the information and project features will be available through our main website, which will have its own Tor2 web system, allowing you to access and display information which we normally would not be allowed to store in certain countries where censorship on such information is applied. This is a very complex project, but it can and should be done. Alternative Internet infrastructure will be constructed in stages, with time, just as certain Polstrat platform features will be unlocked in certain countries based on the Polstrat popularity in specific countries. Polstrat will reach its full potential after we establish our own stable economy. The first original name for this project was PolyWord. It was later renamed to Project Polstrat. Those who wish to know details, there is old channel dedicated to this project only with videos about Polstrat structure, schematics and more. Our own safe place in the dark web mixed with coexisting subsets on the surface net, and internet inside an internet network. There are separate videos about this project, which are dedicated to this project only on the PolyWord channel. Of course we won't be able to start up this project with everything at once. Polstrat will constantly be in development and growing to unlock new features in certain countries based on our budget possibilities and the number of registered users from those counties. We need to popularize it, and make it easier for people to access censored information by using our own website integrated Tor2 web system, which will grant them fast access directly from our website on the surface web. Polstrat will become a mirror which will grant access and vision between a world of surface information and those which are under any form of oppressive political censorship. In my opinion, not a single democratic government should have the right to dictate to people what type of information they are allowed to access, especially if that information could shine a new light on the situation, from which life of those people might depend on. Also, nobody should tell people what they are allowed to question or not. People should always question everything. Those are one of the basic mechanics for independent thinking, which should be protected by law. A free people must be allowed to access all public information and they must be allowed to question everything. In Europe, for example, it is illegal to question many subjects from our history, which proves how controlled we are by our so-called international masters. A project which was developed by the U.S. Army, to help establish secure anonymous communication between U.S. agents, will serve us now to establish our own fundamentals for our future organization to avoid tracking of individual users or limit any exchange of information. Please remember that Polstrat is necessary to set up the TradeStrat project, which will not only allow us to create our own alternative trade market, with our own currency, but will secure the creation of our own economy. Details will be explained further in this video series.